Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens affect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Mean Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens affect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Mean Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens affect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Mean Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Good morning, Lorain County. Good morning, Ohio. Good morning, Mean Street News. Thanks for joining me this morning. I'm quite early. I gotta fix my balance. Hold on. My gain's too loud. I'm in my... Oh, that's perfect. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me this morning on Mean Street News. I'm a little bit early this morning, but grab a cup of coffee and enjoy the show. Today, we're going to be doing part one of part two of our conclusion to the Lorain County radio controversy that has been plaguing the county for the last 4 years. Why should you care? Because well over $1 million of our tax money has gone into litigation, settlements, and lawsuits, and continues to this day, which is why you should care. So we're going to start by getting into the investigation that we started reading, the sheriff's report, because how do you know? They always claim like we did an investigation, and how do you know that if you don't read it? And who's going to read that report when they see 200 pages? But it's not 200 pages, it's 33. So right before we get into that, though, where we left off was January 9th or 6th. 9th or 6th, they rescinded the radio contract with Cleveland Communications. It was a multi-million-dollar radio contract. It was for $7.7 million. Sorry, I'm reading my notes. Let me get this real quick. So the sheriff's department would have gotten $3.7 million. $1.9 million would have gone to 911, and $4 million of subgrants would have been available for our political subdivisions. And as I said last time, that's a misappropriation of ARPA based on the definition of broadband telecommunications. That wasn't specifically radios. That was like for connectivity, which would be, towers. It could be something that connects the internet servers, something like that. And it had to be give the county a return on investment. If we're dumping money into a private company, we're not building anything for the county. Now, since we're now building radio towers, wireless towers with our new contract, that's a little different. So we rescinded the contract January of 2023, and we're just going to get right into the sheriff's investigation where we left off. And then I'm going to just break it down for you after that. It should be a quick episode this morning. All right, what we're doing here. Okay, Lorain County Sheriff investigation. This is where I want to start. So when we left off at the Lorain County Sheriff's investigation, we were discussing, okay, 2 seconds. Let me do this. I want you to be able to see this. We were discussing the blackmail claim. That was where we left off. At this point, Commissioner Hung claims 911 Director Williamson had a video, which is her paramour, her boyfriend, the one she's helping with the lawsuit, that says, I will verbally discuss what is on this video via phone call or in person. It's the oral sex claim. So it says, Commissioner Hung indicated that Harry Williamson assisted with the campaign for now. Prosecutor Williamson, Prosecutor Tom, Williamson assisted with the campaign for now Prosecutor Tomlinson. Williamson and Tomlinson became good friends. Marie, the mother of our prosecutor Tomlinson, and Williamson's friendship developed into a sexual relationship, which allegedly Marie's spouse was aware of and had no issues with that type of lifestyle. And the encounters would take place at rest stops. Williamson informed Hung that he had encountered a videotape on his phone. Blackmail. That's the first thing I think of. Like, why would you videotape that? In a conversation with Tom Williams, Hung advised that she informed Williams that before her was Marie, and she believed that Williams taped the conversation on or about June 21st or 22nd of 2021. Hung advised that Williams always attempts to tape conversations, and that's accusatory. She's never provided any of that. Hung advised that she informed Tomlinson on 2 occasions. This is where I want to pop up because this is going to pop up later. 2 occasions. She didn't tell, the prosecutor one time, hey, my boyfriend has a sex video of your mom. No. She told him twice. And, where I go in my head is, why would you, if you told him once, he knows, why would you tell him twice? And that's going to come up later when we're talking about the sheriff and the prosecutor and what's going on there with him. So she, not brought up once, brought up twice. So let's see what, Van Zandt says about this. Commissioner Hung claims Director Williamson and a family member, J.D. Tomlinson, family meeting for sexy motels. So even if this allegation is true, he's saying it is not a crime unless Commissioner Moore is insinuating that due to an alleged sexual relationship, the county prosecutor is compromised and are being blackmailed to not perform his duties. So he said it, like maybe our county prosecutor hasn't done exactly what these people have wanted him to do. And we wonder why now, fast forward, hindsight's 2020. Now he's all in the paper in regards to his relationship with Jennifer Battistelli and her allegation of abuse. And it's hard for me to even say that because I have a theory here, and I don't think she's a true victim. Now, Jennifer Battistelli also is claim. It had said like it was a discrimination claim, but she also has a previous history of domestic violence. Now, she wasn't charged. She was charged with DV. I think she pled it down to something. I forget what it was, but it was in Avon Lake in 2019. So she has a history of relationship issues. So he goes over the no big contract at a mission critical Inform Me meeting. So I'm going to skip forward a little bit. So we were at the waste funds. They didn't really care about all that. I mean, I care, but because it just shows like her bad behavior. Like she asked about a solid waste funds project. She was told to she was told to contact the solid waste director and, give the county administrator that information if she, had a project or something, which is what she should have done with the Cleveland Communications Inc. contract. She tried to hire her brother. Yeah. You know, it was funny because, I heard it and I forget where it was, but she was saying something about like the human resources director didn't know that was her brother. So that's why, she didn't hire him. And, she got confused. And then, no, she was never supposed to hire him. And no, he wasn't, didn't have the qualifications for that job. But, he came for an interview anyways, which makes no sense, And there was also a question about her sister-in-law about a position she tried to create, but she was never promoted. So it's just to show like a pattern of that kind of behavior. So Van Zandt goes in. I have attempted to speak with Commissioner Moore about his concerns, allegations. He is not elected to speak with me and instructed me to speak with Assistant Lorain County Prosecutor Dan Petticord. Commissioner Moore did email me a response letter, and this is where we're going to pause here on this investigation. I want to take you guys to what happened after they rescinded the contract with Cleveland Communications in the beginning. This is where we're going to start. So so here's the first press release from the sheriff's office, okay? And this is January 6, 2023. Friday, January 6, 2023, press release. As sheriff of Lorain County for the past 22 years and as law enforcement officer for 49 years, I and the entire staff of the Lorain County Sheriff's Office are very disappointed in two, Dave and Jeff, of our elected officials, specifically Commissioner David Moore and newly elected Commissioner Jeff Riddell. As the commissioner board agenda came out at 9:51 a.m. today, it was motion under 911 items 21 and 22, which they knew they want to rescind the motion just passed last Monday for the implementation of the L3 Harris radio system that the sheriff's office and many fire chiefs throughout Lorain County came out in support of the system, which will vastly improve communications for all our officers. And we can also communicate with each agency. This ultimately protects all of our officers and citizens that we protect. Proper communication is a vital element for us to perform our jobs properly and has been going on for several years and has been bid out, and approved by Commissioners Lundy and Hung. Commissioner Moore was conveniently not. Hold on, I gotta go to the next one. I hate when I do that. I'm stupid. Was conveniently not able to attend that meeting. So he's discussing the December 2024 meeting where the last day in power, Commissioner Michelle Hung and Commissioner Lundy, the Democrat who was on his way out, passed a $7.7 million contract to Cleveland Communications. So when all of these people, and this is January 6th, so 21st, that's 10 days, so 31st, right? Plus 6, that's 16 days. So 16 days ago, they passed a contract that they knew was going to be immediately rescinded by the new board. But instead of, waiting to see what the new board decided to do, they needed to politicize this and they needed to, get that contract through because they knew the new board was never going to approve it. Katie, how did they know that? Crazy person, you just making stuff up, right? No, Riddell, ran for county commissioner in 2022, and he said, I'm trying to pull it up right now. Hold on. Where did he pull it up? Is this it? No, that's not it. Hold on. I know I have it here. this is gonna bother me. More requests and proclamation. Come on. Well, anyways, I wanted to show you. It's gonna make me mad. I wanted to show you how Riddell, ran on not agreeing with the radio contract. It was a huge part of his campaign was against this radio contract, and I want to find it because it was. Hold on. I know exactly where it is. We're gonna search because it'll be quicker. Here we go. Is this it? No. Give me 2 seconds, you guys. I'm sorry. I didn't want to show you this, though. Because I was like, oh, well, there it is. Come on. It's going to make me mad. I literally just had it. You know when you have something like in front of your face and you're like, oh, I just read that. Now it's not. Now you can't find it and you're like a crazy person. I'm seeing one of her posts where she's being crazy lady. Whatever. I'm not going to be able to pull it up. I'm going to find it as soon as I'm not looking for it. But it was all it was is a flyer from Riddell's campaign where he is stating, all of the reasons why he did not agree with the contract that they were pushing at the time. Now, the RFP, like I said last time, was passed. The RFP was passed in October. The bids were all accepted in October, but they waited until the last day that they were empowered, December 21st, which was 16 days previous to where I'm talking about that article. I knew I just had it. That's going to drive me crazy. And I thought I uploaded it. Oh, here it is. Ha! I told you. I knew I had it. Here we go. Give me 2 seconds. Here we go. So here's his campaign thing. She posted this. This is not what we voted for in 2020. Support a radio contract. State of Ohio pricing Harris radios at $3,200 each. She steered the bidding to a private company for $1,500 each. She voted yes to pay $2.6 million more. Her arrogance and ethics would cause the unexpired levy from passing and unemployee disciplinary actions. Public calls for resignation. But look he mentions the radios. So they knew that he wasn't for it. So they waited to the last day in power to pass this contract, okay? And now, 16 days later, here's Sheriff's Committee and the Fire Chiefs Association attacking the new board about the radio contract that they knew was going to be rescinded. And I mean, everybody showed up. The same, and when I say everybody, it's the same cast of safety force characters and presidents of associations. And, it's not like some common ordinary citizens like, hey, you're not supporting the fire safety forces, So this is released on January 9th. As you can see, it was press release on January 6th. The Lorain County Fire Chief explained its decision to rescind the vote for the December 21st, 2022, 16 days. That would provide the county sheriff, fire, and EMS agency the state-of-the-art communication system. It's not a state-of-the-art communication system. It's radios. That's all they were purchasing. And really, it wasn't even purchasing radios. We were going to give grants to 911, to the sheriff's office, and then to political subdivisions, which is the misappropriation of ARPA, which is why Keith Faber should have done something. The process has been transparent, proven, reviewed several times by the Lorain County Prosecutor's Office with no reasons to halt its progress. Now, when they say the Lorain County Prosecutor's Office has vetted this, you know, I think they vetted the contract. Like, if it was, you know, no weird legal stuff in there, do I think that the Lorain County Prosecutor's Office knew that, like, the ins and outs of everything about radios and broadband and all that? No, I think they looked at the contract itself and was like, is it legal? Is it not have some crazy, like, you're gonna pay this forever clause? You know what I mean? Like, people sneak in weird shit. So to contracts sometimes. So I think that really what it was. I don't really think they understood what the ins and outs of it were. Outside interference by individuals and competing vendors have made this a spectacle of political jockeying, making safety an afterthought. Failure to pursue this man endanger civilian lives and lives of our firefighters, emergency medical personnel, and law enforcement officers. This is what they do. As commissioners, now is the time to do what is right and what is in the best interest of Lorain County. Do not rescind resolutions 22-909 and 22-910. They knew this was going to happen. 16 days before this, when they were up here lobbying and thanking Michelle Hung for passing and Lundy for passing the contract, they knew the contract was going to be rescinded 16 days later. They knew. They all knew. Every single person that spoke up there knew it was going to happen. This is political theater. So once again, the Democrats blame somebody for something, and it's what they're doing. They're politicizing this. They're making this an issue because it benefits them. It benefits their departments. It benefits, whoever else is involved in this, which we'll get to in a second. So it's on. You know what I mean? You think like, oh, they rescinded it's the end. Oh, no, no, no. This is just the beginning. And we have another 2 years of this nonsense. So here's Commissioner Hung, that day out of disregard for the health, safety, and welfare of our residents and the county's free. Now, take out residents. She shouldn't give a fuck about us. And the county's first, sorry, I shouldn't say F word, but the county's first responders. The only thing more accomplished is jeopardizing lives. Okay. And Moore said he ordered the video technician to keep the feed rolling. This fist bump illustrates how they really feel. Shameful. I think they were happy they rescinded the contract and got through the meeting. That was the fist bump. But to be like, her on her high horse, she knew exactly what was going to happen. She knew the second that Lundy lost, this was going to happen. And which, to me is another question of, you were so confident, why didn't you go forward with this contract right before elections? Why did you wait till after the election? Why did you wait to the very last day that you were in power and without all three commissioners there, which you like to tout now, make decisions without me? Why did you do this, knowing that the new board was going to rescind this contract? She knew. They all knew. They all knew. So then, first couple days in power, what happens is they get the media involved again, and old radios causing communication issues for first responders in Lorain County. And News Channel 5 has a beautiful article and beautiful, the safety forces aren't getting what they wanted and this, that, another thing, And then the deputies file a union grievance over radio contracts. The sheriff's office is the law enforcement agency of the township and the unincorporated areas. The county's responders must also protect from incapacitating physical hazards with proper radio equipment could be avoided. That's their MO. It's the building's gonna burn down. We're all gonna perish because we don't have these radios that we haven't had in forever. It's not about the citizens. It's about the agency. It's not about putting towers in to ensure that communication is going to be reached for you know, ever. It's about them not getting the grants that they want, and we've never in the history of Lorain County paid for radios. Never, never. And they were told in 2020 we're not paying for radios. When they got a $32 million bill, they're like, yeah, that ain't happening. James Cordez, the previous county administrator, told them straight up no, and they admit this in this report. So it was a big old no. Another agency that came after them fairly quickly. I'm gonna just get to should get to this first, yeah, because it's in March. Was the AFL-CIO. Now, Michelle Hung's paramour is Harry Williamson, who was the previous president of the Lorain County AFL-CIO. And, we stand lockstep with the elected officials, township leadership, evenly opposed, reckless decision, Lorain County Sheriff's Department, local police leaders, firefighter leaders, EMS, safety unions have stated Cleveland Communications Integrated Contract is what they need and what they want. They don't even want the contract. They want the money. You know what I mean? They need the money. And, Leary and Lorain even were quoted in the Chronicles saying that they needed these sub-grants. They needed this money in order for them to move forward on a project that they weren't even originally on. Since Michelle touts the 5 cities, Elyria was never a part of that. And Elyria and Lorain said that they need the sub-grant for them to move forward in December of 22, which I find interesting. Please reconsider voting to accept the previous contract negotiations. So you think like, oh, this is the president of the Lorain County AFL-CIO Federation of Labor. This must be like legit, right? Well, what's real interesting to me later is who Harry puts as a confidant of people that he speaks to about his lawsuit. Now, Harry Williamson is the previous 911 director, had the affair with Michelle Hung, who's the commissioner. Michelle hired him, even though, and didn't disclose her affair to any of her Republican counterparts or any counterpart or anybody, according to her in her depositions. But it says here in Harry Williamson's lawsuit, her boyfriend's lawsuit that she just filed a affidavit for, it says, Mr. Williamson therefore interprets his entire interrogatory as seeking a list of people with whom he has a non-privileged conversations about his litigation against Lorain County. They include Ron Atkins. Ron Atkins, president of the AFL-CIO. There can't be a conflict of interest here. What? I just talked to this guy about the lawsuit that I filed against the county, and I've been, one of the ones lobbying for Cleveland Communications Inc. And now the Lorain County AFL-CIO has come out and said that what the commissioners did was bad because they're lobbying for Cleveland Communications too. And just so you get it real clear, real clear, it's right there. Here's the original document. Ron Atkins and Aiden Fogel, which I find fucking hilarious, and Michelle Hung's administrative assistant, Matt Spears, and Michelle's best friend, Aiden, and the president of the AFL-CIO, Atkins, who just wrote a letter to the commissioners stating, conflict of interest. I don't know. And who was endorsed by the AFL-CIO? Oh, here's Michelle admitting to it. I am the only one to be endorsed commissioner and will continue to support a dedicated working men and women library. Let me just break the timeline down for you, okay? Michelle meets Harry September 1st. She meets Harry September 1st. She sleeps with Harry by September 7th. By September 15th, she gets the endorsement in 2020 from the AFL-CIO, which helped her win her election. That means 2 weeks to get an endorsement. Slept with them within 7 days, It's very interesting. It's all very, very interesting. Now, following, the AFL-CIO, what happens in February 29, 2024? Lorain County Fire Chiefs Association. Commissioner Hung, thank you for attending a rare candidates night. So they held, after, I don't think they held one before, a candidates night for, the upcoming primary that was coming up. And, who did they invite but Michelle? And who did they endorse? Michelle. Is it? You think that's a coincidence? And they've been, Chief Weatherby, who's the president of Lorain County Fire Chiefs Association, has been at every meeting that the radios has been discussed. He has been a very huge advocate of Cleveland Communications Inc. He has made that very clear that he wanted that contract to go through. He has made it very clear he had some kind of animosity towards Marks. And there was another vendor. It wasn't just Marks. It was Basu Communications, which is a local vendor. So with the primary election drawing near, it was decided by the association to offer you our endorsement. If you choose so, you may use our association's logo or any printed material during your campaign, which they then violate the Hatch Act. I'm going to jump back real quick. So we are going to get to more in Van Zandt. So this is why I jumped, because I wanted to get to this. So Van Zandt then says, we're going to do an investigation. That he has to speak to Moore for the investigation, and Moore did not respond. Well, Moore did respond, and I want to show you how he responded, because I believe it is appropriate, but I just want to check my timeline real quick and make sure I'm not skipping I did skip it. Okay. I gotta... Fuck it. You know what? We're going to skip it and then we're going to come back. All right. So I want to read you this. So Van Zandt says, Moore doesn't want to, participate. So they received Van Zandt's public records requests, documents. As you're aware, Lorain County Prosecutor Dan Petticord immediately contacted you to advise you that our office was in process of complying with the public records request. Then on March 24, 2023, you were informed by Mr. Petticord that the public records request upon which we were working was withdrawn by your office. Then later in the day, on March 24, 2023, we were informed by Mr. Petticord that your department has now issued a court subpoena dated March 22nd, 2023, for emails about Cleveland Communications Inc., Ohio Marks Radio, Marks, Basu Communications, Basu, and the L3 Harris Radio Project Harris from Commissioner Riddell, John Gall, Tom Williams, County Administrator Arm Brewster, who just was hired, I believe. Not even hired yet. I don't even think he was hired yet. No, I think he was hired. We'll get back to that. Anyways. And he wasn't hired in 2022. He wasn't even a part of any of this radio stuff as a employee of the county. And the undersigned, we have directed Mr. Petticord to comply with the subpoena. The foregoing chain of events is concerning for each of the following reasons. On March 20th, 2023, your department sent an email to the undersigned, which stated in pertinent part that the Lorain County Fire Chiefs Association has formally requested that the Lorain County Sheriff's Office conduct an investigation into the L3 Harris project. Clearly, the impetus of your department's recent conduct is due to this entity acting as a shadow plaintiff in the CCI litigation against the taxpayers of Lorain County. This point is underscored by the fact that, strangely, on February 23rd, 2023, the Lorain County Fire Chiefs Association, the Fire Association, invited CCI to provide updates to the Fire Association, despite the fact that CCI has a pending lawsuit against the taxpayers of Lorain County. Then the Fire Association passed a resolution requesting that your department conduct an investigation of Lorain County commissioners and administrators as to potential personal gains tied to the radio project. In less than a month after this request by the Fire Association, your department acquiesced to its demands. Many do not believe it is a coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence. And what demands did they make? Let's jump to that. What did the Fire Chiefs Association ask to be done? We're gonna show you right here. Here we go. So here we go. On March 1st, 2023, President of the Lorain County Fire Chiefs Association, Mike Weatherby, Fire Chief Association sends a letter to Sheriff Stemeti requesting investigation the concerns they listed. 1. Allegations of the attempt to steer the radio bid by former 911 Director Commissioner Hung and Matt Lundy in favor of the L3 hair system at CCI. That's easy. I could list 5 dates right now that tell you how they did it. Excuse me. 2. Why was the Auditor of State chosen to conduct an investigation rather than the Sheriff or the AG's office? Any relationship or conflict of interest, unethical or illegal actions concerning Commissioner Moore and Riddell, nothing but Hung, Auditor of State Keith Faber, and Safety Service Director of North Ridgeville Jeff Armbruster locally and at state level. Number 4, conflict of interest or relationship between those mentioned in number 3. Now, Moore did not only send his little perforated dots that we were reading previously, and the one that I just read about the fellatio with the prosecutor's mother, to Keith Faber, the Auditor of State. He also sent it to the Attorney General's office, and he also sent it to the Sheriff's office. The Sheriff's office did not want to get involved within this until the contract was rescinded. As soon as the contract was rescinded, now they're all in. 5. Any threatening, unethical, or illegal actions of Motorola and Marks on their own or through local officials to inhibit, stall, or delay the radio project. 6. Actions or reports on the part of Commissioner Hung and Lundy that could or would be misconstrued as an attempt to rig or steer the RFP to CCI vendor. Well, phase 2 language. There you go. That's all I did. The alleged attempt of Commissioner Moore and Riddell to get MCP to help rewrite the RFP in a less stringent manner, thus favoring Marks and Motorola, and would not be itself be bid steering. This is really weird that the Fire Chiefs Association even said this. That means somebody was feeding them the emails, which I can tell you right now because she asked them to forward her the emails. I bet it's Hung. From MCP between the commissioners and Dan Gross at the time, who was communicating back and forth with them. And them to ask if that's not bid steering, that's not what they did. They asked them to write a more appropriate RFP to not, knock out all the other bidders. Because, the second, like I told you, they used that phase 2 language is how they rigged the bid. They knew using phase 2 language was going to ensure that Cleveland Communications was the only person that would be able to bid. They knew that. They had a meeting with Marks, Motorola, July before the RFP even came out, July of 22. And, Marks on behalf of Motorola, on behalf of Marks, pretty much stated, if you put in that RFP the phase 2 language, we're either going to be a partial bid or a no bid letter. And what do you think they did 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later? RFP, phase 2. Everybody's out. Investu can only bid radios, but everybody else is out. They knew exactly what they were doing when they used that phase 2 language. And every person from here, that shows up to the meeting, Chief Weatherby, President of Fire Chiefs Association, which we're talking about now, he repeats that same thing. So does Sheriff Stemeti. But I guarantee you, if you go up to those people just at random and you ask them what the difference between a phase 1 and phase 2 is, they would not be able to explain it to you correctly. They like to say about the windows and the buildings with big bricks and, which is just kind of ignorant, because if they knew where Marks originated, it was because of the schools. It was because of the bricks. It was because of, to ensure communication and that locution button in the schools, so it gets that alarm, that IP alarm. in all the schools. That's where Mark started. So I found that really weird that they would even ask number 7. Number 8, the reason MCP walked away from the meeting with Commissioner Morrill to review and rewrite the RFP. Well, I'll tell you the reason right now is because Cleveland Communications filed a lawsuit. It's the only reason they walked away. They were working on it. They were actually working on it. We're going to look at those emails. Immediate background check and subsequent release of personal info of Lorain County citizen by a county employee working in Commissioner Riddell's office after citizen spoke at the commissioners meeting. They're talking about Aiden Fogel here, Commissioner Hung's BFF, the one that she and Harry were editing his public speeches, and he can deny it all day, but he told me that with his mouth. So he's the one that said it. I didn't say it. You said it. So let's get back to more. I just wanted to show you that because that's pretty significant. Sorry, I have to remove this. All right. Page 2. Where are we? Show. Okay, so this is where it goes. Ironically, there are already several investigations of Lorain County commissioners ties to the radio project, specifically the Criminal Division of the State Auditor's Office and the Ohio Attorney General, and other law enforcement agencies are conducting investigations of Commissioner Michelle Hung's ties to the project. The department took these actions while CCI is also starting its discovery suspect. As your department and general public are aware, an undersigned has been an on-the-record whistleblower as to the misconduct associated with Commissioner Hung and others' conduct in regard to the radio project. The Fires Association, CCI, and others are coopting your department to do their bidding to undermine the undersigned's whistleblower status and on the foregoing pending state criminal investigation. When he's saying the undersigned, he means Commissioner Moore. Okay? He means himself. Another example of the weaponization of your department by others is that on January 9th of 2023, at a Lorain County Commissioners videotaped public meeting, the Lorain County Deputies Association, the Sheriff's Association, President Adam Shaw called for an investigation of Commissioner Riddell, Tom Williams, and the undersigned in regard to the radio project. The Sheriff's Association is yet another shadow plaintiff in the CCI litigation against the taxpayers of Lorain County. An individual, recently Commissioner Hung, has been meeting with representative department to provide a false information to support her never-ending campaign to get CCI their multi-million-dollar contract at the taxpayers' expense. As your department is well aware, Commissioner Hung is a known liar and pled the fifth multiple times during a federal deposition just last year, and she did. It's not a lie. Yet another abuse of power relating to this matter involves the same January 9th, 2023, Lorain County Commissioners meeting, specifically during the discussion of agenda item number 21. Your department representative complained about the undersigned cutting his department's budget by $500,000, referring to Sheriff's Committee. This constitutes yet another conflict of interest between your department and its issuance of the subpoena. Many could perceive that your department is retaliating against the budget authority of the county due to either your department's position on the radio project and or upset with how the county commissioners are allocating taxpayer funds to your department. Despite that being conflict of interest, we are complying with the subpoena. So he's pointing out you guys have all these issues. Regardless of it, we're going to give you the documents that you need. For all foregoing reasons, your department has a clear conflict of interest in regard to this matter. County Sheriff's conduct is problematic at minimum. Everyone involved in this subpoena has a conflict of interest. True. Fire Association, Sheriff Deputies Association, they're all receiving funds. They're all lobbying for funds for their municipalities. But these funds that they're lobbying for, the county has never paid for. Nor was it appropriate under ARPA to pay for that, because we shouldn't be giving sub grants to the political subdivisions. And, for all these fire and safety and chief forces up here, which I support, our safety forces, but the mayors should have been up here. Councilmen should have been up here. The mayor should have been talking to the commissioners. That wasn't happening, which is weird. Attorney General needs the appropriate actions to the county sheriff in this matter or identify conflicts of interest. So, next one. I forgot what that says. If you have any further questions relating to this matter, please contact Lorain County Prosecutor Dan Petticord. So he's saying, if you need to talk, if you need anything else, let him know. But they're not going to give him an interview. He's not going to give him an interview. He's like, I'm not, we're not going to continue this, this stuff, it's ridiculous. So I'm going to remove that. I'm going to go back to the sheriff's investigation. I wanted to show you what Dave said. Because they have a huge, all these associations have a huge conflict of interest in this, every single one of them. And they're the ones pushing for the sheriffs to investigate, your commissioners. And like you said, your commissioners are your fiduciary branch of this board. And, it kind of looks retaliatory because I just told the sheriff I'm cutting his budget. And it also looks retaliatory because I didn't pick the contractor you all wanted. And the sheriff was going to get, what was it? $3.7 million out of that money. The political subdivisions were going to get $4 million. So 5 cities, 4 million, Elyria, they're gonna split it. Plus they just got a $900,000 grant at the time. So they wanted this money. So they all had a conflict of interest in requesting these investigations. So he goes, I have attempted to speak with Commissioner Moore about concern. So I spoke with Greg Kanatsky, the investigator assigned by the Ohio Auditor of State. And I want to pull that up because it is completely relevant. Here we go. All right, here's that. So on Monday, this is in October. And so it would have been months afterwards that he spoke to him. Now, Kaminsky doesn't say they have no criminal aspect to them. He's saying Kaminsky did indicate that what they have determined as far as complaints as sent them by Commissioner Moore have no criminal aspect to them. Once pending lawsuit has been ruled upon, they may reopen the investigation allegations. These allegations made against Commissioner Hung by Commissioner Moore have been ongoing for almost 2 years with no resolution in sight. Now, what did Kaminsky really say? Here we go. Monday, May 8th, 2023, I received a phone call from Greg Kaminsky, an investigator with the Auditor of State. The following transcribed conversation. The audio recording is available if requested. Lieutenant Van Sant. Hi, Greg. Lieutenant Van Sant from Sheriff's Office returning your phone call. Greg Kaminsky. Hi, how are you? Lieutenant Van Sant. Good. Yourself? Greg. None. I don't know. Laughter. Lieutenant, it's too early to tell. Greg. Well, here's what I got. Greg. I was asked by my bosses in Columbus to inform you and the sheriff that I have a voicemail with the sheriff that we received. I won't even term it a letter because it's 98 pages long. But we received a packet from the attorney, from Ulmer Attorneys, and the gist of it is they're requesting an investigation into the circumstance related to potential contract between Lorain County and Cleveland Communications, CCI for Public Safety Radio. My bosses want me to assure you, Lieutenant Van Sant, and the sheriff. Oh, let me see my note here. Greg, at no time will we interfere with the sheriff's office investigation. Lieutenant Vance, okay. Greg Kaminsky, or at no time will we ever ask the sheriff to use their term stand down on their investigation. Lieutenant Van Sant, laughter, okay. Greg, I'm just dealing with the big guys, said, right? Van Sant, yeah, I understand. Van Sant, yeah, I understand. Greg Kaminsky, I'm also Lieutenant Van Zandt, did you guys receive that packet? Greg, to inform you that I cannot release this letter they sent us because we still have an open, although currently not active investigation. Van Zandt, got it. Kubninski, our response from one of our attorneys is that let's see, will not be altering the course of our investigation or starting a new one based on these circumstances that they gave us. Van Zandt, okay. Kubninski, we also cannot initiate an investigation simply to prevent another agency's investigation from proceeding. Van Zandt, right. Let me see, Greg. And the last thing on here is that, Greg, it appears that Lorain County Sheriff's Office is already committed to embarking on an investigation of their own. That office is well aware of our office's investigation, and this knowledge has not deterred them from proceedings. Lieutenant Van Zandt, okay. Greg Kubninski. In closing, Greg, we will not enhance and or initiate another investigation of the matters at issue here. Van Zandt, okay. Greg, so in English, I don't know what the hell that means. Van Zandt, and those are your people that are saying that, correct, Van Zandt? That's your people's response to the packet. Okay, got it. Yeah. Lieutenant Van Zandt, can you tell me when you will receive the packet, Van Zandt? I mean, that's all I'm asking, Van Zandt. I don't want to see the packet or ask you to forward it. On April 24th, we received your April 21st letter. Okay, so it appears they sent the letter on the 20th or dated their letter the 21st of April, and we got it on April 24th. Van Zandt, okay, all right, understand. Greg Kubninski, and I know it's been about 2.5 weeks, but again, that's how I get it. That's how quickly they move. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I do appreciate you giving us the heads up. Yeah, okay, that's not a problem. Greg, okay, and I have a call to the sheriff just to explain the same to him too. Okay, appreciate it. So Greg Kaminsky was letting Van Zandt know that they got a huge packet from the attorneys from the commissioner's office. He wasn't saying that they're not going to investigate, that they're not investigating. They're saying we're not going to impede on your investigation. But he's also telling him, bro, I can't forward you this document because, we got it from your attorneys and my boss. So let me just call you guys and let you know, we're not going to have you stop your investigation. We're not going to impede on your investigation. But at the same time, they're not going to stop theirs either. They're not saying we're not doing anything. But I think this whole conversation is just a little shady because it's a little shady in the sense of, how do I explain this? It's a little shady in the sense of I feel like he's giving Van Zandt a heads up. Hey, heads up, we got this document from the Lorain County the Lorain County commissioners. I want to, just give you a heads up on it and let you know that we have this document, which I find really, really weird. Why would you give them the heads up? Why is the auditor's office even contacting Van Zandt to tell them that they received a document from Lorain County commissioners? And it makes me think why the auditor didn't go in. The whole thing is just kind of hard. So anyways, so that's what Van Zandt said, and I wanted to read to you because they always like to say, this person talked to this person and whatever. So this is what I found really interesting. It's the sheriff's investigation says 2021, 2022, no activity. For a point of clarification, between 2021 and 2022, there's no activity related to the radio system. This was largely in part to the board attempting to find funding for the program. This is a lie. So let's see all of the activity that was done between 21 and 22. Ready? So here's 2011, here's 2020, go 2021. Let's do it. January 2021. Ready? These are all of the things that have happened between January 2021. Look at pages. There's pages about the radio contract. So the sheriff's report saying nothing's happened, nothing at all has happened. And look at this. Oh my God! Look at all of this. Look at all this. 29 of 42. Look at. We're still going. Oh, now we're not. Here we go. Now we're not. So 30 pages of the 40 is everything that's happened. But according to the sheriff's investigation, because it's, the official investigation, nothing happened. So hiring J.R. White. So October 4th, 2021, they hired Jeff Young, who was hired as the 911 director. Jeff Young was the previous fire chief for Sheffield Village or Lake, one of the two, Sheffield Village or Lake, don't quote me. You don't think it's a conflict of interest when he's a part of the 5 cities? Like Roz with Sheffield Village or Lake, they're both part of the 5 city project. So of course Jeff Young is gonna, promote this 5 city plan that Michelle is going on. Whatever. So, I found this interesting. They said on April 28th of 2020, Alan Close gave a presentation, was invited to give a presentation to the Board of Commissioners. I don't believe it was the commissioners. I think it was at the 911 center, where like all the fire chiefs were meeting and stuff. And it goes on to say this. Present at the meeting was 911 center, representatives of the 5 city program, fire chiefs, all administration, Lorain County 911. According to a source, the president, Mr. Williams, interested. So Mr. Williams can be interested in whatever he wants. He's not. That was the previous county administrator that was terminated because of retaliatory behavior of Michelle Hong. They got the $400,000 settlement, and then $450,000 settlement. He was approached by. I talked to him. He was approached by Michelle and Harry in May, and he said get something in writing. So, something writing. But again, May was interesting because Alan Close said in May to the state senate that Lorain County was in the bag. Lorain County was signing up with them, which is really interesting. So, no time to commission order to ask someone to require gather pricing Alan Close. June 1st. All right, we're just going through other shit that doesn't matter. MCP agreement. So, they agreed. We already went through this last time, so I'm kind of just going to go through this. So again, Moore voted no, and this original agreement was that March 15th meeting where he said the Cleveland Communications has said 27 times. This May one was approved afterwards, where they changed it to a land mobile base or whatever the heck it was, radio system. Where Moore was like, "Is this just supposed to say CC on it?" Like pretty much. August 3rd, the RFP. Everybody asked for extension. We talked about that last time. Go back to the previous episode. Newly elected commissioner. So Jeff Riddell. Jeff Riddell, one would take office January 4th, 2023. He went in there before and asked to be a part of the executive sessions when they were discussing, right before that, where they were going to pass the radio contract. He wanted to be in that session. He said, I don't want to skip a beat. I want to come right in. So he has to be a part of that and was later denied. So February, Jeff Armbruster is appointed as the 4th county administrator. And then February 23rd, the Lorain County Fire Chiefs Association held a meeting and voted to motion to request Lorain County. We read that investigation. Auditor of State on March 3rd. I made contact with the fraud investigator with the Auditor of State. I inquired Greg if he was actually investigating allegations. Now, this is interesting. That was March 3rd. He got a hold of Greg, but this is May 8th. So maybe he reached out to Greg. Greg advised they responded to their investigation due to pending lawsuit that CCI is against Lorain. His legal advisor simply denied that the request they cited clears expectation and exception of public records. Oh, okay. Greg did indicate that they did not be able to locate anything criminal that started Commissioner Moore's allegations. Bullshit. Greg advised that they're more likely, when they resume the investigation, will ultimately end up closing it out in unfounded status. I sent Greg, then the Auditor of State, a public request for copies of the investigation. As far as legal advice, specifically denied the request, as they cited Claire's exception to public records request is confidential law enforcement investigatory records, which is the same thing to me. On March 31st, 2023, the president of the board, David Moore, scheduled a special meeting to adjourn an executive session. Mr. Hung had previously scheduled a vacation day and was unable to attend. Mr. Hung advised assisting at rescue to update her that we retain a hiring law firm. Oh, okay, so that was that law. Okay, so yeah, look at, they were trying to, I just noticed this. Van Dam was trying to get the 411 on the auditor's investigation. Because look at Ulmer Attorneys, right? That's who sent them that. He's saying right here, she didn't attend this meeting, March, April, May. Yeah, I mean, Zan was trying to get the in on what was going on. Oh, interesting. So while he's conducting his investigation, he's reaching out to the auditor's staff, asking what their investigation's about. And he says it says nothing, but you never know. So I knew that they knew somebody in that freaking office. I had this theory that the sheriff has friends in the auditor's office, and this is kind of pointing to it. On April 7th, 2023, commissioners add a resolution on their agenda to hire the former law firm Julie Gambala. Law firm is the same law firm defending their current breach of contract lawsuit by Kulim Communications, Inc. April 20th. More Riddell leveled a negative speech about the sheriff's office. They're talking about a Republican meeting. That's ridiculous. May 4th, Greg emailed me an additional packet that his officer received in the more. So wait. May 8th, he's saying he can't send the packet. Oh, I want to get that email. Now, hold on. I got to write that down. Request. Email state. Auditors. Oh, I want that packet because they're telling me on May 8th. That they couldn't give him it. And now, look what he's saying. Because he had a potential contract. So I was advised that they could not release the letter due to them having an open but not an active investigation. That's when I read you. Grand jury subpoena. So here we go. We're going back to more grand jury subpoena. We already heard what Morris said about that. Okay, so March 30th, 2023, Sheriff's Department received a letter from Lorain County Prosecutor J. Talman's office. The letter indicated that since the prosecutor's office represents both the Sheriff's Office and the Lorain County Commissioners, that a conflict has caused his office to recuse itself from this matter. And he asked the attorney on March 31st, J. Townsend, okay, so keep in mind, J. Townsend said, hey, I can't give you any information, right? I can't do what you want me to do. So I'm going to refer this to the Attorney General's office for a special prosecutor. Prosecutor Thompson admitted that it was Lorain County Fire Chief Association that had requested such investigation on March 1st. Let's read that. I want to make sure it says that because I don't really trust him. Here we go, JD's letters. No. That's not the letter from. Here we go, March 30th. Okay, so he says, because I prosecute criminal cases, I have an inherent conflict and circumstance that requires my recusal from the grand jury investigation, commissioners, and the board's employees. I am in possession of 2 additional subpoenas that were submitted to me for the foregoing reasons I cannot file for service. So basically, he said I'm going to get a hold of the prosecutor. And let's read this, what he says. And then I got 8 minutes and I gotta get my daughter. We're gonna cut it here and I'll return later this morning after I read this. In the podcast they'll be all together, but for my lives they'll be 2 separate because I gotta get my daughter. She's going fishing. It's her birthday. So she's going fishing. Woohoo. So we're gonna end this section here and then I'll be back at 7:30. 7:30 to finish this podcast. So, dear Attorney General Yost, I am confronted with the following circumstances. Approximately 1 week ago, Lorain County Sheriff's Deputy Lieutenant Robert Van Zandt presented one of my assistant prosecutors with a grand jury subpoena, Deuces Ticum, to be issued to the Director of County Information Technology Department. The subpoena ordered production of various documents, including emails generated. Hold on. Emails generated. Where am I? The subpoena order production of various documents, including emails generated by 2 of the Lorain County commissioners and several employees of the board. Because the assistant prosecutor did not review the subpoena carefully, it was issued and served. The subject of the request email is a contract to furnish emergency service radios to the sheriff's office as well as to several local fire departments in the county. Coincidentally or not, the 2 county commissioners above whose emails were ordered had recently voted to rescind this radio contract, an exercise of discretion that has angered and affected these agencies and their employees, including the sheriff and his deputies. At the same time, the above subpoena was issued for Lieutenant Van Zandt, sent an email to one of the above commissioners asking them to contact Van Zandt to be interviewed. Because I represent the board commissioners and the sheriff, and because I prosecute the sheriff's criminal cases, I believe I have an inherent conflict that requires my recusal, as I cannot assist the sheriff in a grand jury investigation of the Board of County Commissioners. Its individual members or employees. I have had to advise the Board of Commissioners that I am unable to represent the board or its members in this matter, and I have advised the board member with whom Lieutenant Van Zandt requested a meeting to confer with private counsel. Based upon the foregoing, I am requesting your assistance as special prosecutor to assist the sheriff with this investigation. Not relevant to the above, but relevant to my circumstance is the fact that the same board members who voted to rescind the contract for the purchase of the sheriff's radios also voted to reduce the sheriff's previously approved budget of $595,000. Another exercise of their discretion that prompted the sheriff to speak out at a commission meeting. At the above commission meeting, the sheriff expressed his anger over the commissioner's reduction in his budget and as well their vote affecting the rescission of the radio contract. The sheriff was accompanied by several deputies, one of whom, when given an opportunity for public comment, called for a criminal investigation of the above 2 commissioners' votes to rescind the radio contract. When the commissioners were informed that I would be unable to assist them further in this matter, one asked me whether the sheriff is permitted to launch a criminal investigation of him each time he casts a vote that negatively impacts the sheriff. I refer the commissioner's query regarding the sheriff's conduct to you for your review. And that's where we're going to stop this morning. Well, not this morning. We're going to stop right now. I'll be back about to finish this episode. Like I said, it's my daughter's birthday. I gotta make pancakes, eggs. That's the breakfast she wanted. Pancakes, eggs, sausage, and bacon. So I'm gonna go get on that real quick and then get her butt up for fishing with Papa. I will be back this morning to finish it. But so basically, sum it up. Moore's asking, I just cut the sheriff's budget. He's upset about a radio. All of these other people are upset about radios. Conflict of interest. And keep in mind, what did J.D. Tomlinson do? No, he kept his mouth shut because he's like, I have a conflict of interest. I can't represent either of you. And I want you guys to keep that in mind. He didn't get involved. He didn't get involved. And I think you're going to start seeing who that's going to bother more. Is it going to bother Riddell more and more? Or is it going to bother the sheriff, the deputies, and the fire chiefs who are also Democrats and the Republican warrior? But JD would stay quiet. He said, I have a conflict of interest here. I can't represent either of you. But how does that affect him later? Will that affect him later? Michelle, when she wanted that contract passed, already said, I have this video of your mom blowing somebody. I wonder if something else happens to him that's politically negative, maybe involving a girlfriend that gets out and, I don't know, these people start using, maybe private recordings of him and his girlfriend. And, maybe his girlfriend, uses those videos against him to get what she wants, get what they want. I don't know, maybe there's connections between his girlfriend and the commissioners and all of these people. I don't know. Maybe I do know. Could it be? All right. I gotta go make pancakes, sausage, bacon, and eggs for my daughter's birthday, and I'll be back about 7:30 after I get my high schooler off. But you guys, I will see you in a couple hours, and I hope you enjoyed this the first half of the first part. Thank you for joining me today on Mean Street. I hope you enjoyed the show. I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider supporting our work and supporting my effort. You can support directly underneath at the Spotify donations, or you can directly give a donation at paypal.me/Mean Street, Ohio. Any donation received will help me continue to provide news to you and everyone else across Ohio and beyond. I love what I do, and I just hope to continue to do it. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me today on Mean Street. I hope you enjoyed the show. I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider supporting our work and supporting my effort. You can support directly underneath at the Spotify donations, or you can directly give a donation at paypal.me/Mean Street, Ohio. Any donation received will help me continue to provide news to you and everyone else across Ohio and beyond. I love what I do, and I just hope to continue to do it. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day. Thank you.